piano. Annie here with one of my favorite songs, Rockin Pneumonia and the Boogie Woogie Blues. I found this version on another YouTube channel, My Sheet Music Transcriptions, and I will link to that video in my description in case you can learn it easily that way. It's a digitized piano with no fingering and no tutorial, so I thought I would make it easier for you guys and teach it to you piece by piece. So I'll play it once, then I'll play it really slowly, and then I will provide a tutorial in the second half of this video. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so there it was, and it probably even goes a little faster than that, but I was trying to play it without mistakes. So now I'll play it really slowly without me talking. Okay, so that's the end of the slow demo, and now we'll head into the tutorial. All right, now I will go through it piece by piece. First, I should tell you that I'm using a different left hand than what they used in the video. So this is the one they use in the video. Okay, that would be it in C. It's C, G, A, G. And when you're in the G portion, it's G, D, E, D. But what I'm using is hitting the C and the G together twice, then hitting E flat and A, and then using my middle finger to hit the E. And when I'm in G, it would be like this. And then B flat E to B. And unlike most of my videos, this does not use the swing rhythm. This uses what's called a straight eighth note feel. So it almost feels like bop, 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 very steady. There's just maybe a slightest swing to it. So it's pretty steady. Okay, and we're just using C and G the whole time. And sometimes I'll use a C octave or just hold a C G, and sometimes I'll use a G octave or just hold a G D. All right, so that's for the left hand. Let's go over it part by part. There's an intro and an ending, and then there's 5 parts, at least the way I broke it down. So here is the intro. You hit left C octave, and then you slide into C, G, C up top. Okay, and then F, A, and then down to E flat, G. Then we just travel down the C major chord like this. All right, G, E, C, there's your C major, hit a G on the bottom. Then we do, really, I'm stealing this from the famous New Orleans lick, where you then surround the third note of the scale, which in this case C, D, E. You surround it by its upper note, then its lower note, and then you hit the third note, okay? And that will always come in on beat 1 of the next measure. So it goes like this. I like to do it, and I don't think they do this in the video, but I like to do it with a C topper, so I'll do this. Okay, so the intro is like this. And then you hit, still part of the intro, you hit this G7 right here, okay, that's G7 with a G octave, and you hit that 7 times. Okay, so that's the whole intro. Part 1, we're going to use the regular left hand. And then here's all we're doing for part 1 is mostly it's this third interval EG and then this third interval FA, and we'll be doing an intro note like that, a slide into it with a C major, and then just up and down, then up and down again, and then it'll be just down. So like this. Okay, so it's strike, up and down, just down. So then you do that twice, actually. So you go through that again. Now let's move on to part 2, which starts with switching your hand to the G. And you're just going to hold this chord for 2 strikes of the left hand. So like this. And then it's a quick leap up. And this is the first time we're leaping up here, and we're going to do some of our octave fun. So you'll do, and then we leap up to an F octave. And this whole next section is just going back and forth between F octave and D octave. All right? So here's how the rhythm will go. Okay, and then we're actually just going to hold that. So if you can get that rhythm, it's all right. So that's what I call the F and D up and down portion. All right, next is G-A-G, which is just this. And we'll use that again later, so keep it in mind. So once you finish with your F and D up and down, just do G-A-G. And you'll be holding this chord here. Then you'll do what I call a flourish, and this is the flourish. Okay? Come down E flat, D, C, A, C. So it's G-A-G, flourish. All right, then it's a really fun part, which is just E flat and G alternating with an E. And you can include the G more if you want. So you could do this. And you do it 4 times. You can use whatever fingering you like. All right, you could also include the G each time like this. Either way, it's 4 times, and then you'll recognize this from the introduction. You come down the C major chord again. And end it the same way as from the New Orleans famous lick. And then, this is easy, you're going to repeat part 1. All right, so it's boom, boom. And remember I said this 3rd note of the scale on this famous lick always comes in on the first beat of the measure, so it'll be like this. All right, so let me do that whole part 2 for you. Then you repeat part 1, okay? Let's do it. As soon as you run out of notes for part 1, you've just hit the first note of a new measure, a new bar down here, and you immediately are going to jump up and climb some octaves. You're going to do E, F, G flat, G with the remaining strikes of the left hand. So let's pretend we're finishing up the repeat of part 1. And then, okay, you'll move your left hand to G when you hit the G. So you're climbing up, and then you'll switch to G. Okay, and now I'll just show you the right hand. So I call this climbing the village. E, F, G sharp, G. All right, once you climb the village, add in 1 cycle of that F, D, F from the previous part 2, okay? Just a quick up, down, up, F, D, F. So climb, then F, D, F, and then it will be a climb down. It'll be G, G flat, F. So we went up with 4 notes, but we're only coming down with 3, okay? So it'll end there. And if you don't just want to end it plainly, instead of hitting this as an octave, you can hit it like this. So it would all go like this. Okay? And here's how it works with the timing. Let's see. Okay? Then G-A-G, just like before when we finished with our F-D-F octaves, we did G-A-G. So when we finish with these octaves, all this stuff floating all around here, also add a G-A-G. But then you're going to skip the flourish and go right into a really fun thing involving these 3 notes again. This time they'll be played in a series like this. E flat, E, G, then E flat, E, A, like this. I use pointer, middle finger, and pinky, and it's a total of 4 times, but you can use whatever fingers you want. And then it's a climb down, and then that will finish the section. And this time, instead of that, we'll do this for our climb down. We'll do E flat, D, C, A, C. And it'll sound very steady. Right after this, which goes fast, it almost sounds mechanical, okay? So that is part 3. So here is all of part 3. I'll do it with the introduction of that repeat of part 1. And I think I usually just hit a C note down there. You can hit a C octave. Okay, now let's move on to part 4. Part 4 I call Slam It, and then it has a C section. So here is Slam It. You find this chord, D, F, B, and a G octave down here, and you hit it 4 times. Then you maintain these 2 center notes, which were F and B, but you move your hand up and add an E flat on top. So it'll be like this. And that's 3 times. So 4 of this chord, and then 3 of this chord. Okay, now it's time to go to the C section. So we'll be doing regular left hand down here. And here's what we'll do here. I slide into it. It's basically a C major chord, but it's just the G and the E. And you slide into it from the E flat. So like this. Let's see. Yeah. And then we'll come down that D, C, A, which we've used. In fact, we just used it to get into this section. So you'll go like this. And then you'll hit another version of the C major right here. Okay? E, G, C. You'll do that twice. So it'll be. Then back up to this one. G, C, E flat, and then a slide down into this C major. Okay? So it's kind of like this one that we started with. So we went like this. Then regular C major here. Then up to here. Okay? And then you hit this note again 3 more times, and then slide into this again, the G and the E. Come down the D, C, A again, and back to this. But this time, instead of going up here, which is what we did last time, after we strike this E, G, C, we'll go down, and we'll do C, E, A, down to C, E, G. And we'll slide into it with an E flat. So it'll be like this. So here's that whole C section part. Oops. That is it. That's part 4. All right, let me do all of part 4 for you now. All right, so we arrived here by coming down like this. All right, so let's do that. Then slam it. C section. Left hand finishes out that alone. Then it's my favorite part, which is a tall G chord. So this is basically a G7. We're going to drop the G and we'll put our ring finger on the B. That becomes important. And then pinky up on D. All right, so that's just a form of the G7. And we're either striking all 4 notes or just these 3 or just the B. So this will be a little workout for your ring finger. So it goes like this. Let's see. Okay, so it's all a combination of this chord, okay? Then we go back to something you're familiar with, G, A, G. So if you think of this as a little G area of our part 5, okay, then the G, A, G transitions you back to the C. And here's how the C portion goes. Same idea of using, you're going to use this C6 chord, You're going to leave out the A except when you hit it alone occasionally. So it'll be like this. Let's see. Okay? Rockin' Pneumonia and then Boogie Woogie Blues part of the song goes like this. It's D, F, C with a G octave. And then you're going to climb down an A to a G. All right? So we had the stretched out, the tall G chord. G, A, G. And then just hold a left-hand chord down here. And then this is the Boogie Woogie Blues part. Then you're going to finish off part 5 with hitting 2 more of these octaves in the left hand and hit a D. You can hit it with the first one or the second one. And then just you can slide into that C major, and you're going to start the regular left hand again. All right, so now the ending. The ending is kind of long, but bear with me, you're almost there. So the ending, just start here, and then you climb your village. And then you continue with your left hand in C, okay? Even though you think you're going to want to go to G. 2 strikes alone, then hit this G twice. Then staying in C down here, we're just going to do this. Okay, and that goes pretty fast. And you could probably make up your own rhythm, but it's going to go like this. Okay, then it's a tricky part that's hard to play slowly, but here's how I learned it. You have a series of 3 notes here, C, G flat, G. You'll be playing that 6 times in a row fairly steadily, and you're making that fit in down here with a group of 4 notes. So to get it to work out, I learned it by counting 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, etc. And then I combined it with the left hand so that I could work it into the next part that comes up after, which is the climbing of the village in octaves. So here's how it sounds together. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3. And then you're ready to hit the E flat A down here in the left, and you go right into this climb here. So it'll be like this. And the next thing that happens, you finish that, is you are going to hit an F octave and finally move your hand to the G position. You're going to hold this F for 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it'll be like this. Then hit the F again. And now we go to another part where we start a new pattern that you'll be seeing a lot of in the rest of the ending. So the pattern will be this. B flat octave, and I apologize if you can't see the high B flat, and then an A octave, G octave, back to the A. So it's B, A, G, A. Okay? So here's how it goes from the Fs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then on 4, which is going to be just the single note here, I'm going to jump down and do a climb down. It'll be E flat, D, C, A, G, all in octaves. Okay? So And then we will switch to a really fun part, getting close to the end here. 2 quick C octaves while just holding a C in the left or a C octave in the left. So it'll be. Now here comes that pattern again. B flat, A, G, A. Then repeat the pattern but do it on E flat. So it'll be E flat, D, C, D. And then repeat the pattern but this time in white notes. C, A, G, A. Then repeat the G, A. And then you hit your final chord, which I use a full C7. But in the video that I learned this from, they use a G, C, A version of the C major. So that's your choice. All right. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3. Climb the village. Switch to F. Okay, I'm not going to play it for you again. I'll let you go back and watch it again if you want to see it played. I hope that you enjoyed this and that you have as much fun as I have. I also highly recommend, if you enjoy this, check out Arthur Migliazza. I hope I'm saying that right. He has an amazing channel where he teaches Boogie Woogie, and he did a great lesson on the lick, the famous lick, the New Orleans lick. It's called lots of different things. And then for a few dollars, you can buy the sheet music, where he has put together a whole practice of using the famous lick. And it sounds very similar, same style as the Rockin Pneumonia. So you could have fun with that too. So I will also link to his video in my description. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know. And I'd also love to know if you have success with this. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.